start your business to go to another level. You must try to learn and hear something new. So make the change today. So don't procrastinate and see your business grow and change. So check out Drastic. So yeah, with Toni Harris Taylor. Toni Harris Taylor. Drastic. So oh yeah, with Toni Harris Taylor. Yeah.
Hi, Toni Harris Taylor here with another amazing author of Lead Loud, Entrepreneurs Building Legacy Through Drastic Leadership. Our guest today and author is Crystal Gomez. Crystal is amazing. Wait till you hear her story. One of my favorite NIA members, coaching clients. She's just awesome. So welcome, Crystal.
Well, thank you for such a lovely introduction, Toni.
I'd like you to introduce yourself. So, in your own words, who are you and what do you do?
Yes, well, I am Crystal Gomez, Small Business Technology Strategist and Digital Literacy Educator. And what that means is I help small businesses leverage the power of technology to implement processes and systems to get things done, to save costs, and to close more business.
Yes, yes. So, you've been an entrepreneur a long time. What
I
inspired
have,
you to become an entrepreneur? And how has this journey, because I know it's been a journey,
it
shaped
has.
the leader you are today?
Yes, I was inspired by my grandfather, Dr. Joel O. Tate. So growing up in a small town in a family business, I always knew I wanted to own a business, but that wasn't the one. I didn't want to be a dentist, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I actually went to college. I wanted to be like an FBI agent or something, and I did obtain my degree in criminal justice. But after working in my field for about a decade, I decided that that wasn't what I wanted to do with my life, and I wanted to go back to rethinking it and becoming a business owner. Um, so growing up in that family business, I just always knew if you want to be somebody and move further and faster, you've got to do it yourself, because where we live, it was very much the have and have nots, and the haves owned the business because there weren't any high paying jobs in, coastal Mississippi. So I
Okay.
knew one day I would be an entrepreneur. I just wasn't sure exactly what field I would be in. And my field wasn't thought of. When I was
So, I'm going to ask you a question not on the list, but what was your first entrepreneurial venture? What was the very first thing you did that was entrepreneurial?
I guess I've sold things, but my actual first business was, as a financial services professional.
Okay. Okay.
No, I sold Avon.
Okay.
I sold Avon. Avon was my first entrepreneurial person. I hadn't thought about that in a long time. Yes, I sold Avon.
Okay. Very
Yes.
good. Well, how has entrepreneurship shaped you into the leader you are today?
Well, it's given me the freedom of time. It has allowed me to achieve my goals and get paid what I'm worth and be able to spend the time I want to spend with my family. If I want to work, I'll work. If I don't, I don't. With that being said, we all know as entrepreneurs, you work more so, but you don't have to ask a boss for the day off. You do
Mm,
sometimes have to reschedule your clients, but otherwise you can achieve your goals and spend time with your family and make the money that you're worth.
okay. And it is a gift to be an entrepreneur. Just today, my daughter needed me. And so I just rescheduled appointments
Yeah.
and went and did what I had to do to help her. So That's the beauty, and not having to say to walk into a boss's office and oh yeah. I couldn't imagine doing that, Crystal.
I'm not in that space anymore. I'd make a terrible employee.
I would be a terrible employee. So, how do you define leadership in your own words?
Leadership means to serve those that you're leading. So you're not managing, you're helping them to be the best version of themselves. So you're leading them. And that's an interesting change in the world of business that we're no longer managers, but they call them leaders. You have all the responsibilities of a manager, but they want you to encourage people to do what they're supposed to do, as opposed to being more of a patriarchal. You do as I say. It's more of an encouragement and a supportive role.
So, in your technology business, you absolutely are leading your clients. So, how do you lead your clients loudly in technology?
Well, there's a great digital divide between those that love and embrace technology and others that say, no way, I don't do that. What in the hocus pocus Star Wars? No, just no. And I'm encouraging them to embrace it because in our everyday lives as consumers, you can no longer do things that we could do 5 years ago. You cannot you really can't walk in any place and set an appointment or make a payment, because if you do, they'll hand you a phone number or a website or point you to a computer terminal in the corner. They will
Mhm.
not help you. So if you're depending upon some child, a friend, a relative, a neighbor to help you, they're not going to always be there when you need them. So it's important that just as human beings walking this earth, that we have a basic set of technological skills. It's
Mhm.
amplified if you are a business owner, because if you want to compete with other businesses, you have to understand and utilize the tools and services that they're using. But with that being said, there's so many resources that I wouldn't say that they're free because they take your time or your money, but there are resources that you're already paying for that are available to you that we aren't utilizing. And then that means with the technology. So as I mentioned earlier, I help entrepreneurs streamline their operations by implementing processes and systems. Well, these processes and systems are highly clerical and used to be performed by
Right.
someone you hired and paid. And now we seem to think that we don't need to hire that person and we can do it all. And the fact of the matter is, we can't, because we're just one person. We're human.
Correct.
There's only so
Correct.
many hours in a day, but yet things need to get done that are clerical in nature. So, um, oftentimes people didn't have that skill because it was delegated to a paid
Correct.
person. So these
Correct.
days, most people just simply skip it.
Yes.
And when you realize you need to do it, you spend too much time on clerical tasks that are actually done quicker and more efficiently by utilizing technology. Because oftentimes you can program it once and the automation takes over.
You know what really trips me out today is when people say, "Oh, I suck at technology," or "I hate technology," or "I'm not good at it." Then get good at it, because it ain't going away. And stop saying that, because it's like they want to go back to the old days. You do a great job when you're speaking of showing us some of the old things that we used to use, and nobody wants to go backwards to that. But
Right.
and I know you help those people who have this mindset shift to make, and you lead them to make that shift. So talk to me and tell me about a moment when you had to take a drastic step to grow as a leader. What did you learn from that?
Well, I had to take a drastic step to start this business.
I know you
um,
did.
I've talked about it for years. I've dabbled in it and done some speaking engagements, but I finally decided to make it a legitimate official business. And that was drastic because I'm a person that likes to have their ducks in a row before you do something, before you act. And I very much didn't have my ducks in a row, but I decided to do it anyway, or else it would never happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I've been going through that journey with you,
Yes,
and it's been a big shift for you because you were in financial services so long and you had poured a lot of time, and you still do that, but you put a lot of time and energy, and anytime you are redirecting or pivoting, it's drastic. And you wonder, am I doing the right thing? And are people going to
yes,
want it?
yes.
And, am I betraying my old business by doing that? So I know you went through all that head noise, right?
Yes, well, people still very much see you as that other person. They're like, well, wait, aren't you the financial person? And I'm like, yes, I still am. But in addition to that, I offer other services as well.
Absolutely. And we're entrepreneurs, so expect it. Stop being surprised by it. If you know entrepreneurs, we do multiple things. And in today's world where things can shift and drastically, you cannot have all your eggs in one basket. So
You,
I
you
love that
can't,
about you.
you can't because those eggs are constantly moving. So you have to take an opportunity where you see one. And as I was networking, I learned skills and processes and systems that I put in place for myself. And when I tried to do something simply as sharing my digital business card with someone else, they're like, wow, what's that? That's cool. I want one of those. Wait a minute, what did you just do? And I just saw a real opportunity to actually teach someone how to do it and why you want to do this, because it's not as simple as this card here. Sharing this card with someone sets off a process of operations
Yeah.
that is automated, that helps me to follow up efficiently with the people that I meet, whether it be a colleague or a potential client.
Yes. Very good. Help more people follow up. Oh, please.
Yes,
So, what legacy are you intentionally building through your business?
my legacy has always been and oh well always will be to connect other people to the other people and resources that they need to accomplish whatever it is they're wanting to accomplish.
That's good. And you are a consummate networker, you're a connector, and I see you everywhere. And I'm just really proud of you because I know you've grown in the networking piece as well. So, how has your leadership, impacted your family, your network, and your community?
I think as leaders, we have to have a different perspective because there may be some things as a human that we don't like. But when you become an entrepreneur, you have to take the emotion out of it. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. You learn that it's necessary and you have to learn how to deal with it because if you don't, it's a matter of life and death for your business, because if you don't implement and do the things that other people are doing, you in the long run you are going to fail if you don't keep up with the, and I wouldn't call it trends, but with what's happening, with what people want. What people want changes based on how our world is, in time, historically in times of war, things
Mhm.
that make people feel good do better. So beauty does better. But when the economy is doing well, then there's that inverse reaction. So different industries work better. So you have to understand the business cycles, just like the financial cycles. It has an inverse reaction to what people buy and what people are able to buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not a
Well,
trend. It's not a trend. It's a reaction to what is happening now, not what happened 30 years ago when I started in business.
so what core values drive your decisions as a business owner and leader?
My first value is to serve. So, what I'm offering, is it beneficial to others? Of course, there are, again, superficial things out there that make us feel well. I mean, there's no reason why we need, to buy an actual set of pearls like this that costs, $10,000 unless we just have the means. So, are you targeting the right people? Don't target someone that can't afford what you're selling, especially if it's like health and beauty.
Yeah.
I just always want to offer something that's beneficial to the other person, that helps them or makes them feel better about themselves. But I never want someone to say, that was a waste of my time or my money. I want to provide value.
Awesome. 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 So, was there a time you ever wanted to give up, and what kept you going?
Every day. Every day,
That's the real answer. Every
because
day.
we're human and life is lifing. But again, I make a horrible employee, so I know I can't go back to that. So I just have to wake up every day and look at what I could do differently, if there was anything that I could have done differently prior, and you just keep moving forward. The support of persons such as yourself that keep pushing me and stretching me to be the best person that I can be, and my family,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
support of my family.
We just have to keep moving forward. We already established we would be bad employees. So what else is there? You just got to keep moving.
Either you're an employee or you provide jobs. So
Correct.
which are
Correct.
you going to be? So you just have to remember what's your why. Why are you
Yes.
doing? You just have to put that somewhere to remind yourself why you're doing this when things get tough.
Absolutely. So, how do you show up for your network when things get tough?
Well, I realize that if I'm going through it, they're probably going through it as well. And I want to be the person that I needed when I was going through something similar.
Yeah, be the person you need. Because
Yeah,
when you need somebody, you want somebody to be there for you. And that's
right.
a true leader, recognizing when there's issues. And so there have been times, you and I have been together almost 4 years now, I think. And there's been times where you reach out to me, what's going on? I reach out to you, what's going on? And we're pretty transparent about what's going on anyway. So we help each other keep going
Yes.
even when it gets tough. That's the point of having a network. A
Yeah.
lot of people think a network is to help you get business, and it is, but the side benefit or the bigger benefit is having a community that keeps you grounded, keeps you going forward when it gets hard. And so I want to thank you publicly for being one of those people that I know I can call on when life is life and business is business, and you're always answering the phone. And I
Well,
appreciate that.
likewise, Tony, it's not about the competition, but I know sometimes you tell me, wow, you do that so well. And I'm like, well, Tony, I'm just trying to keep up with you. I'm not, trying to compete. I'm just trying to catch up. And, we often find ourselves, as far as certain things, our skill levels are, right side to side, but I think we feed off of each other definitely, and to have the support and advice of your peers and someone that's been there and done what you're looking to do, to look to them for advice is invaluable.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have anybody, you're starting from scratch. So when you have the support of someone and someone encouraging you, such as yourself, I feel that it puts you years ahead of where you would be if you did it all on your own. As in my previous business, I primarily acted as a sole proprietor in its true form, but very quickly in my current roles, I learned that there's no way that I could do this by myself, and I'm not much of a delegator, and I had to, or else
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have lasted 2 to 3 months because with that attitude. And what I wanted to also add is that I think fear is the thing that holds a lot of us back. Fear of the unknown, fear of technology. So therefore we stay in our comfort zone, and none of us truly know what's ahead of us. We just decide that we're going to do it anyway because there's no other option. And in
Correct.
reference to technology, people think I just woke up like this, right? But this is a culmination of years and years and years of experience and time taken to hone my skills. And particularly when I'm working with clients, they're like, "You're so patient." I'm like, actually, I have no
I
patience
uh,
at all.
they don't know.
Right. But as an entrepreneur, I've learned that I have to give them the time that it takes. And that's, I guess, what makes me different. I realize that my target market are coming into the technology because because I've encouraged them, but they're still bringing their fears with them. So I realize that I do have to be patient when I otherwise personally wouldn't be. So as a leader, you have to take the emotion out of it. When
Yeah.
you're in very emotional situations, you have to be the bigger person, and you have to swallow your pride, because any indication from you is just going to escalate the situation. So you have to keep a cool head when maybe your personality normally wouldn't. You have to become the leader, and you have to hold yourself out as one regardless of what your emotions and your personality would otherwise do.
Very well said. It ain't about you. I
It's
sum it
not
up
about
like
you.
this. It's not about you and how you feel and your normal. You gotta show up for your clients. And
Yes,
so love that. So what leadership lesson have you learned in rejection or failure?
you win or you learn. You
Yeah,
win or you learn. It's not positive or negative. It's not good or bad. You just have to learn from it, because even when you win, you learn. When you
that's
think you
right.
lost, you learn, because next time you're going to do it differently. You're going to look at it from a different perspective. Maybe you're going to look at it from the perspective of outside looking in, because when you're inside looking out, it's a very different view from being outside looking in. I mean, imagine you're speaking. When you're speaking and looking out at the audience, it's like, oh gosh, they're all looking at me. But when you're in the audience looking at the one performer or the group of performers, you don't think anybody's watching you, but someone's always watching you.
Someone's always watching you for sure. So, how has been a part being a part of the drastic results and network and action communities helped you to lead louder?
Well, it's connected me to people and resources that I'm not sure that I would have ever been connected with, because first of all, I more than likely would have discounted them, and you insisted actually insisted that I make that connection or attend that event, when I was like, no, Toni, I'm sure it's good, but not today, Toni. No, we're not we're not doing that, Toni. And you're like, you need to do it. And I'm like, no, you need to
Show
do
up.
it. And I'm like, okay, you must really, adamant about it. Okay.
She used to fight me on showing up, but then she finally surrendered and now she's left me behind.
Uh-oh. I wouldn't say
She,
that.
yeah, I would because I don't do a lot of networking in the city anymore,
But you're
right? You
doing
don't
something
really
different.
see me at local events anymore. And you done left me behind, girl. So you need to start inviting me to some stuff so I can get my local
Well,
networking back on.
Well, Toni, you've been jet setting, and I, attend events, and I ask other people, how did you find out about this? And they say Toni. So I don't know, Toni. You might not be there, but you're there in spirit.
For sure, for sure. So, who inspired your leadership style and what qualities do you embody from them today?
I wouldn't say that there's any one person that inspired my leadership style, but I just strive or aim to be the person that I would want if they were in my position.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I know that your grandfather had a lot to do with it, watching him. Uh,
Yes, I can't say that he inspired it because he was pretty much do as I say. I'm Dr. Tate, and anybody that knew Dr. Tate, you do as Dr. Tate says, don't question him. And I guess I strive to be the opposite of that
okay,
because
right.
I didn't necessarily like that. And I do often, analyze that. And a lot of it has to do with the times we lived in your
Sure,
situation.
sure.
If you look at what it took for him to get where he was in a time when he
In
did rather
Mississippi,
in Mississippi. I mean, he was a pioneer. There were literal hate crimes almost. What's the word? Committed against him and his business because who he was. He ran a dental practice, so people would break in because they knew that we had, at that time people didn't go to the pharmacy. The doctors kept the drugs
yes,
open
yes.
in on in the building, so they knew if they broke in that there would be money and or drugs. So they would break in. We've had, people start fires. We've had gunshot, come in, and there's gunshots in the glass. So we literally once had somebody run through the business. I guess, when I was a child, and it's, Mississippi, we had all the doors and windows open. So someone literally ran through the front door and chased somebody out the back door.
Wow, wow,
Um,
wow,
so,
wow.
we no longer kept all the doors open. So I just learned so much about everything. But I have to say that my current journey, if anything, it's been more of a lesson in human nature than
Yeah,
anything. I'm dealing
yeah.
more with personalities and personality challenges than I am the technology. So, when I get frustrated, I can't yell at them, I can't curse them out, I can't hit them. I have to, take a deep breath and give a diplomatic answer and try and diffuse the situation. So I did see, that from him. He was someone that connected the community as a business owner that was a minority. He would bring the community together. His business was originally segregated.
Mm-hmm.
And if you weren't a minority, you weren't allowed to come in the back door. He literally had to smuggle non-minorities through the back door
Wow, wow.
of segregation. And this is not political or racial. This is history.
This is
You
history. It's
know,
part of
he
what,
made he made history doing what he what he did. He wasn't supposed to.
Right, right. Well, he was leading loud.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, for sure. So, what bold and drastic strategies have helped you to stand out and grow your business?
Bold and drastic strategies. I don't know. I would like to think I'm
Sure.
kind of bold, I'm gonna do it anyway. People say we didn't know you had that, but it's like I might not say what I'm thinking, and you'll find out when you see me.
Yeah.
Um, I'm doing it. So I guess my drastic strategy is to quiet the naysayers and do it anyway. Everyone always thought I would become an attorney because I've been
Yeah, I
known
could
to
see
be
that.
argumentative, but I actually I don't mean to be argumentative, but I just want to stand for what's right. So if something's not right, I'm not going to be able to stand by and let it happen, whether it's happening to me or someone else. I'm not going to be able to be quiet.
Hmm.
So um, I just quiet. I'm not intentionally trying to quiet the naysayers. I'm just trying to do what I want to do, and I don't know what image you've had of me or why you think I shouldn't do it. That's not my problem. What you
It's
think
not your business, right?
about
What
what
you
you think
what
about
you
me,
think of me is not my business, right?
right?
So it's
So
that's on you.
you do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
Do it
So,
anyway.
what advice would you give someone who's playing small in their leadership?
Go big or go home. I mean, you absolutely cannot. You're not a leader if you're not big because you can't inspire people sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah.
You have to stand up, take action on whatever that is in order to make it happen. And closing business doesn't just mean the monetary close, but it means accomplishing a goal.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
sometimes that goal is monetary, and don't be afraid to make money or ask for money because either you're going to an employer and at the end of the day you expect them to pay you or the end
You
of the week or whenever your pay period is. But as an entrepreneur, we don't expect to get paid. For some reason, it doesn't make sense logically, but we feel that, asking for money is a dirty word.
yeah.
And I, had some hard lessons in that, recently because I've had to say, hey, I performed the service. I did not volunteer for this service, although I volunteer a lot, but that was not the agreement here.
Right. Right.
And, almost go to taking legal action to collecting the money. And you hate to go that far, but don't take my kindness for weakness.
Well, now the other thing is we're all small business owners, so
Right.
why would you do something like that? And whatever you do to others is coming back to you, right? The word says you reap what you sow, period.
Well,
So
then that
why would you put someone in that position to have to, collect money from you versus just owning up to it? You ain't got the money, say that. That's different than making me think you got the money, you hire me, and then you won't pay me. Yeah, that's not cool. That's not true leadership for sure.
yes, exactly, having me to beg you to pay me what you owe me. Um, in the same vein, when we're running a business, people ask for a discount or what have you. I decide where I'm volunteering. You
Correct.
don't decide where I'm
Correct.
volunteering.
Correct.
And if this has been contracted to pay, I understand we have hardships. I don't know what it is about this time that we live in, where the term ghosting or not responding is seems
Not cool.
acceptable to
It's
people,
not
but
cool.
understand that not responding is a response, and the response is that you're not owning up to your obligations.
Correct.
You need
Correct.
to, we think if we say something, it's not going to matter, but it
Yeah.
does. Communication is key. So when you say nothing, then what choice does someone have but to move forward with legal action? And nobody wants to do that because that costs more time and money. If you
Correct.
just said, I'm having a hard time, can we work something out?
Correct. Very good. And ghosting is rude. It's not a leadership quality. It's a
No,
cowardly quality. And if you know you owe somebody, just say something. People will work with you. What can they do? But they do appreciate you being upfront. Well, this is our last question. You ready?
ready.
At your funeral, what do
Oh,
you want people to remember about you and the work you've done?
I just want them to remember that I tried my best to be helpful and to be there if you needed a shoulder to cry on or just someone to talk to. That I was someone that was there for others and supportive of them.
And you're well on your way. So tell everybody how to get in touch with you.
Well, the best way to get in touch with me is to go to crystalagomez.com, my website, or to call me at 713-659-9142. From my website, you will find my email and my social media links. And most social media links, rather, are under my name, Crystal A or Crystal AD Gomez.
Awesome. Very good. Well, Crystal, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom on how to lead loud. And we'll see you soon with another author of Lead Loud Entrepreneurs Building Legacy Through Drastic Leadership.
Well, thank you, Toni.
Best thing.